Episode 1.
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.
Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. My name is Michael, and this is my wife and business partner, Teresa. How are you doing today?
I am doing just great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today we are covering your avatar.
What in the heck is an avatar?
An avatar is where you take your very best customer, like attributes, your the things that define your customer, if you're already in business or if you're hoping to go into business, and you lay them out and you actually put them like in a profile of, say, a person. So, for example, let's say you are in the computer repair business. So, okay, who is your best customer? Well, maybe they are kind of older, maybe they don't really know much about computers, they just want to blast the thing to work, and it's not working, and so you're there to kind of be their knight in shining armor, so to speak. You're there to clean up the computer and make it work properly. Okay? Now, that's just a rough idea. Obviously, there's much more we can go into, and we will in this podcast.
So, when you talk about what an avatar is your idea of what your perfect customer is.
Exactly.
You know, the problem that most business people think is that they try to target everybody. They're looking, everybody's my perfect customer.
And everybody's not.
No. You've got to know that. If you're going to be successful online, you have to know that. Because if you're talking blanket to everybody on the planet, you're not going to succeed, plain and simple.
Why? Because your message won't be targeted to the right person. For example, if I'm looking to build a computer for gamers, my messaging is going to be different than to say if I'm building a computer for someone who's up in their 50s and doesn't play a whole bunch of games, but they just want to be able to surf the internet. Or if I'm repairing a car for someone who knows cars and has a sports car, well, obviously that's going to be a little different than, say, the soccer mom who's just trying to get her kids back to school day in and day out, okay? Your target messaging must fit your target market. In order to know who your target market is, you must have an avatar.
So an avatar, if you really think about it, is... At first, especially if you're new to the business, you're just starting a new business, is a kind of a guess. It's kind of an educated guess. For example, if our target market, what we're viewing this is business people, and I don't remember all the demographics right offhand, but we've actually broke it down and we've actually given him a name. And it's important, I think, to identify who that person is. And I would highly suggest that you give them a name. Our perfect customer's name is Bill.
And see, here's the thing. Because then what you do, every time you are faced with a decision, you say, well, would Bill want this? Okay? Based on the demographics that you've already laid out within your avatar, how old are they? What are their likes and interests? What are their desires?
What are their fears?
What are their fears? What drives them? What are they most angry at? Okay? What has them reaching for the antacids at night? Okay? What are their hobbies? What are their interests? Sure, maybe, okay, so he's a computer guy, a gamer, but does he have any other hobbies? Does he like sports? Maybe he's interested in something kind of outside of your range, but the more you know about them, the better, and the better you can target them.
One of the nice things that you can do, one of the really positive things you can do to help you develop that avatar is if you have customers online already and you happen to have their Facebook, I would look for their Facebook and I would look and see what their likes and interests are on Facebook, and that'll give you an idea, because Facebook gives you a lot of demographics. In fact, if you are doing paid marketing of any kind, Facebook is a really good place to start, because you can target by demographic, you can target by like, you can target by page and everything else. So you can get really, really down and dirty specific about who that customer is.
And again, the more you know about them, the better. The better you can target and see. If you can sit there and say, well, I know that he's interested in this, so I'm going to target him when he goes to look at this, and I'm going to craft my ad copy and my messaging to this particular interest that he has, so that I can get him over to me.
And this is what takes you from bland to believable.
Exactly.
And this is the mistake that most people do when they start trying to market online.
Well, not even online, offline. Because a lot of offline is just throw mud against the wall and see if it sticks. Well, the better you target your market. This isn't even an online deal. This is offline. The better you target your market, the better you craft your messaging, the more success you're going to have. Period.
Completely agree.
So, if you have a business and you don't have yourself in a situation where you are crafting your online perfect customer, your avatar, if you don't know who they are, then I would strongly suggest you find out.
One little trick you can do is you can go and look on for the particular items that you're looking at. You can go on Amazon and see what magazines there are for that particular niche, and that can give you some really good ideas too.
Mm-hmm. You can also check question and answer sites. You can find out, what are they asking? What is your target market doing?
Yeah, Yahoo Answers is really good for that.
Mm-hmm. You could get involved in social media groups, and I'm not even talking about Facebook. You could, if your target market is more on LinkedIn or on Go Fish, or on, there's like a whole bunch of social media sites. You can go in there, read what they're talking about, know what they're talking about, and use that to kind of filter into your avatar.
Right. The important thing is just to realize who that person is. Another thing you could do is you could actually do a search on Facebook for groups and find a group that you think your avatar would join that group, and see what questions they're asking and what they're talking about inside the group.
Agreed. Now, here's a key point. Don't go into a group like that and start, well, hey, here's my company. No. Get involved in the conversation.
You are in research phase. And we can't stress enough how important it is in the social media world to give before you receive. Mm-hmm. And the way that you give in social media is you share information, you share expertise, you share you with that person.
Agreed, fully. Get to know the group, become a valued contributor of the group, and then once you've done that, then you can say, hey, well, I've answered that over here, and then you can slowly start to bring them over. But the point that I think we're getting at is get to know your target market, become friendly with them almost.
Yeah, you need to know who they are. There's just no way around it.
So, all right, Mike, do you have anything that you think needs to be added?
Well, I think the other thing is once you've got your avatar, okay, another thing you can do is once you have a little bit of an audience, then what you want to do is to go ahead and survey that audience. And one good place to survey would be surveymonkey.com, where you can do a survey for free and ask your audience questions and get an idea of who your audience is.
Agreed.
But that's what's going to make you believable. That's what's going to make you connect with those people. You want them listening to you and going, they're talking to me. Yeah, have you ever, I don't know how many of you guys are Christians or how many of you guys go to church, but when you go to church and that pastor is speaking and all of a sudden he says something and it's like a dagger into your brain, and you're like, wow, that was for me. Well, that's what you want your audience to feel when you say stuff, when you deliver a marketing message.
Agreed. And it's not even that. Have you ever walked into a store, or maybe you were surfing a website and you read something online, or you read an article and it just resonates with you, and you're like, you know what, that was meant for me. Bingo, there you go. They're targeting their message, and if it hits home, there are many times I've bought something because I felt like they were talking to me. It isn't some bland marketing deal. They were talking to me at my pain point and where I am at.
Exactly.
So, I think that if you have any questions at all, please ask us, okay? Leave comments. Go ahead and ask us a question. And we will do our best to answer them, okay? There is a lot more we can get into when it comes to building an avatar, and it's not something you can do one time, because sometimes your avatar will change.
Right.
Okay.
And you've got to be flexible to be able to go ahead and change that idea of that profile that you have of that person.
Agreed. So if you have any questions at all, leave them on the show notes page, and
yeah, we'll have all the resources that we've discussed on the page.
Agreed. So this has been the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I'm Teresa Blaze.
I'm Michael Blaze.
And we will see you next time.
Have a great day.
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.